if you clicked on this video expecting me to say some BS like, "Oh no, ZZZ is so doomed," or "Hatwood was the absolute goat of Zenless Zone Zero," just get out of the video. Or if you want to cry in the comments, go ahead, I can't stop you. But I don't want anyone telling me who supposedly made the best designs. And no, I can't ignore this issue anymore. Because, unfortunately, since I'm from Zenless Zone Zero community, I have to deal with the best part and the shittiest part of the community. Of course, this being the shittiest part of it. Good morning, night, or afternoon, I'm Sway, and if you clicked on this video, you are probably as tired as me with these hypocrites. But before starting, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and if you consider it convenient, leave a comment of your thoughts. We all know the recent drama surrounding Atwo and the other lead artists. But who exactly is Atwo? Atwo, as far as we know, he was one of the lead character designers in the early Zenless Zone Zero. In his own words, he joined to the ZZZ team 6 years ago, when they were a little more than 20 people on the team. He has seen the project grow since then, from an early prototype to what we call today Zenless Zone Zero. The reason of his departure was because he wanted to pursue a dream that was stuck 20 years in his head, since he was still a student. That dream being making his own farm simulator, leaving us with some of the most iconic characters in the whole game. Unfortunately, this is when all begin to lose sense. Guess where this misinformation is coming from? Of course, TikTok and Twitter. What a surprise. I'm surprised the amount of these people can make up in such a short amount of time. For example, people saying that he left Zenless Zone Zero team because they supposedly didn't let him be creative with his designs. No, we already saw why he left, so I hope I don't need to repeat myself. Then there are people saying that all the designs I've shown, Atwo created them all by himself. But that's not the case because it basically contradicts how Zenless Zone Zero works. I mean, yeah, maybe most of his vision on those characters could be on the final product. We don't know, but still, these designs were a teamwork, not the work of solely one person. Even the game producer says that everyone in the team can make suggestions about the designs, even if it's not their work. And a lot of times I create designs starting from animations. Yeah, sounds weird, but that's how Zenless works. Then there's this rumor saying that Warakuma forced Atwo to create childlike characters, or lollies. I don't know who told these people that this was true, but remember this point because it will be important soon, and will make a lot of sense with the next topic. And believe me, this can get even worse with the next kind of people. Let's be real, most of us didn't know who was Atwo, or Kuma or TC Ward before this controversy, or even before this table was released. No, and let me tell you something about it. It's wrong. I mean, not entirely wrong, but still wrong. And why, you may ask? Well, most of this table is based on speculations. There are people arguing in Reddit about what characters belong to each artist, and the information is very varied, so this table is not entirely correct. But we will take it as if it was, because these hypocrites are taking it as the absolute truth. So basically, we will use their own logic against them. Do you remember the point that I told you to remember? Well, we're back because these people are flaming Warakuma alive for making childlike characters, while we are forgiving Atwo when he did the same. Like, what are we even doing? No, of course not. Atwo was not forced to make them. It was a group work. But since these people are acting like Atwo solo designed all these characters, we should also accept the premise that he solo designed the childlike characters as well. But if you still think he's incapable of doing this, then you should see this. While I was scrolling through his Bilibili, I found this. It is actually not a bad thing, but for these people, unfortunately, it is a bad thing. So maybe Atwo, I don't know, wasn't so good to begin with. Now, just as a curiosity, I found this other thing. To be honest, it does look very similar to Ellen Young. It's just surprising how Atwo had his art style established years ago. But enough of that, let's continue the video. Then there are people telling that Atwo didn't sexualize his characters, or that without him, Zenless Zone Zero will turn into just boobs and big asses. It's like, come on bro, we're seeing the same table, come on. I clearly see Jane Doe, Rene and Shuyuan in there, even Ellen and Miyavi as well. Like, what are we doing? This is so dumb to be honest. And these people make me ask to myself, when does Atwo became the GOAT? Let's go back to 2024 for a moment. Back then, where were all those people that called Atwo the GOAT? Where were all those people when Ellen got released, when Shuyuan got released, when Jane Doe got released, when Kingi got released, and when Yufufu got released? All those characters still received a lot of hate. And why that happened if supposedly Atwo was the GOAT? The answer is that unfortunately, Atwo just became the GOAT a few days ago. Atwo became the GOAT just because these people needed a narrative to justify their dislike with the game. And suddenly, Atwo became the hero. Became the one that made good designs but left because his superiors told him to sexualize his characters. Became the one that was forced to make childish characters. Became just a narrative. And this is exactly my point. Some people are so mad that they sent death threats to Warakuma. Others really believed and post that ZZZ is done or will lose its essence. The funny part is that this was never about good designs. This was never about Atwo. This was always about the world aligning with these people's tastes, with these people's ideas. But what ideas exactly? Well, these people genuinely believe that big boobs or big ass equals bad design. Or that sexualizing women is something bad. Oh, but when you sexualize a man, there's no problem in that. Actually, it is something good. Of course, yeah. With what face you come to me and tell me that those sexualized characters are bad when you, yourself, repost this kind of thing? Or post these other things? With what face you come to me and tell me that? But now that we're talking about designs, why don't you answer me this? What makes this a bad design? Big boobs maybe? Big ass? Revealing clothes? If you answered any of this, congratulations, you just proved my point. So what about instead of calling this a bad design, why don't you ask yourself this? Is this design meant for me? I mean, call me crazy, but if these people so confidently call a design bad, I suppose they know about designing. Therefore, they should know about the essential questions about designs. So maybe the designs were not the problem. The problem was that you were not the target audience. And do not act surprised about the fan service, because you had plenty of time to figure it out. To be exact, you had 2 years. And you are telling me that in those 2 whole years you didn't notice. Ooh, I'm sorry, but these are just new levels of stupidity. How so you didn't notice the true nature of Zenless Zone Zero when it never hit its intentions? Since the official art of Ellen Joe, most of us knew what would ZZZ be about. Then Shuyuan came and then Jane Doe. So you were either ignorant at purpose or just straight up incredibly stupid. But how are you there to question these people when we all know they're not the problem? When we know the world around them is the wrong thing? and when we know they are the perfect ones. And what kind of people this kind of mindset creates? Well, all the people we have seen throughout all this video. Yeah, I'm looking specifically at you.